I was just reading this one story about Sant Namdev Maharaj, that one day his father thought that he is such a bhakta, I have to make him some sansari, worldly. So he said, okay, these are the stack of clothes, you go to the market and sell it. And he goes, Namdevji, market is still not open. And so he sits on a rock and thinks, okay, let me just do my kirtan by the time until the market, opens up. So he closes his eyes and Vitthala, 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 Vitthala Panduranga, Vitthala, Vitthala, Vitthala Panduranga. And he got so absorbed into it that whole evening gone and he is into the kirtana. And by the time somebody took his whole pile of clothes away, gone. Now he has nothing left in his hand. And when he opened his eyes and he said, oh, where are my clothes? Clothes are gone. Somebody took it away. And then he says, okay, my Bhagwan, somebody really needed it. So it's okay. You took your seva, it's okay. So while he's going back to the home, he's not bothered about what father will say. He's just walking home, enjoying the kirtana. And some bhakta comes in and he said, oh, I heard that somebody took away all your clothes and you went to the market for the first time and this has happened. He said, whatever my Panduranga wishes, that happens, not a problem. He said, please give me an opportunity to serve. He said, absolutely not. There's no need of any seva. And he reaches home and the story says that his father was amply happy. And he was, why are you happy? He should be angry. He said, why are you happy? He said, you send all the money with your friend. He said his name is Vittalnath. And this much money, how come I never make this much money? How come you made so much money? Maybe people love you for your kirtana and you were singing and somebody took pity on you or what? How come you, and so much money? So from tomorrow only you will go because nobody pays me this much the way you have been appreciated. And he started dancing again. Vitthala, Vitthala, Vitthala Panduranga. Vitthala, 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 Vitthala Panduranga. Now this is the power of devotion. No care of world. Mind is totally into that God's name and form. That's what the benefit of the bhakti is. But what is the real original form of Bhagwan? Cannot be known without Tattva Gyan. So you can love any meaning Krishna or Ram or Shiva or Devi or Hanuman or whatever form or formless. You can love, you can chant, you can meditate, you can do pranayam, you can do asana. But the realization of the true nature of God will not happen without the Brahma Gyan, the highest knowledge. Hence, the Vedantic Upanishadic Gyan is a must. Agyan means a veil, which is hiding the truth. So, how many aratis should I do onto the veil that it veil goes away? Devotion won't work. So I do like a dharana and dhyana on the veil of this agyana. Will it go away? No. What you need is somebody has to lift that veil. So, Guru's job is to give you that jnana and lifts that veil. So, bhakti is great, devotion is great, yoga is great. But the realization of the divinity will not happen without Tattva Gyan. Tattva means the elemental, Gyan means knowledge. Let's say, in this hall at the moment, there is someone called Maitreyi sitting. You go and say namaste to that lady, then I'll answer your other questions. Get up, Bhuvan. Go. Say namaste to Maitreyi. Huh? So the relevant question is, who is Maitreyi? Right? The one in a black jacket at the back. Sit, take your seat. So without knowing who Maitreyi is, you cannot say hello to Maitreyi. So without knowing who God is, how will you meet God? I'll give you the logic. There are three states. One is what we call pratyaksh. We call it pratyaksh. Pratyaksh is what you see through your senses, just right now. For example, I'm holding this flask. Its color is pink. And its body is made of steel and plastic, right? And it can hold liquids in it. So this we will call pratyaksha. What you are seeing, right? I had a thermos which was red in color. Beautiful one. Can you really rejoice the beauty of that flask? Not really. But if I go on telling the attributes of that, it can hold 500 ml liquid, it was made of aluminium, it had a nice glossy paint onto it, it came all the way from Russia for me. And now you can create an imaginative picture of that flask in your head, right? So one is imagination, one is what you see with your senses, and one is what you feel inside. Like, do you exist or not? You do. Prove it. What's the evidence? What's the proof that you are? You will say, I know it, I am. So pratyaksh, imagination, and direct experience. Three things. Let's say, you see this world, it's pratyaksh. Have you seen hell, heaven? No. It's just a imagination. Principal of my school, and I don't know why we were like Tom and Jerry. She gave me hard time and I gave her very hard time. Can you think about her? Okay, I can put some attributes to it. She was tall, she was dark-skinned, she was Anglo-Indian. She wore the nun's dress, that's a white skirt and blouse and the white veil on her head. Can you imagine now? Even if you do, it won't be close even to that real person. Now, she might be alive, God bless her, she should be. Now, if she's alive and somewhere, those people who are sitting with her are having her direct experience. For me, it's my memory. For you, it's an imagination. For those who are sitting with her, is a direct experience. Right? Are you getting this much? Now, the other point. When you say God, is it a pratyaksh to you? Is it your imagination or is it your direct experience? Huh? I'm not seeing it from my senses, so it's not pratyaksh for you, right? And right now only know it in imagination. Yes, right now it's just your imagination and you have no direct experience of what God is or who God is. Now imagination is like a feel free and do whatsoever. For some, it's a male God. For some, It's Ram, it's Krishna, it's Shiva, it's Hanuman. For some, it's Jesus. For some, God is formless. If you are a Jew or a Muslim, God is formless, no shape. And it's blasphemy to give a name, to form to a God. So you cannot really make a picture of a God. But in Hindus and Sanatan, oh, feel free. Feel free. So, do we have a real picture of Sri Krishna? No. Do we have a real picture of Sri Ram? No. Do we have a real picture of Shiva? No. Do we have a real picture of Durga? No. Do we have a real picture of Sri Hanumanji? No. Is it just an imagination? No. We will say those who saw them whenever, they wrote some scripts. They gave those attributes. So when you read Srimad Bhagavad Puran, you get all the attributes of Sri Krishna and of Sri Ram and of Shiva and of Durga. Those who saw, they give us their first-hand account. But for us, it is still a imagination. Those who say God has a form, they are imagining. Those who say God is formless, they are imagining. Now, how do we have a direct experience? For that, the Vedanta comes into the picture. The Bhagavad Gita comes into the picture. Hence, in Punjab, they क्या बोलते उसको thapi. They slap their thigh. All the wrestlers, they do this. And it's like, I challenge, this. I challenge. So that's what I'm very humbly trying to do. I challenge. Without Vedantic Gyan, you will never know who God is. I challenge. Why and how do I challenge? By the authority of Veda. So you can or may not believe or accept me what I'm saying, but when I say it is the Vedic injunction, it is the proclamation of Bhagavad Gita that without Tattva Gyan, you will never know who God is. Rite Jnana na muktihi. Nanya pantha vidyata. Nanya means none other. Pantha means way. Vidyata exists. None other way exists than Tattva Jnana. Rite Jnanan mukti. Without the Gyan, there is no liberation. Without the Gyan, there is no liberation. But yes, when we are small, when we are child, we will begin from bhakti. So our parents, elders, take us to Gurdwara, take us to temple. They say, Sri Krishna Bhagwan, pranam karo. Bow, take prasad. Now sit down, do chanting. Now listen to the kirtana. So day in and day out, you are listening, you are going to the temple. That's why the importance of the temple are. It's very, very important because that's the point A from where the journey begins. Like in my childhood, we would run to our neighborhood temple. Why? Because the prasad was so tasty. We would run every now and then. It was a little far, but we would go to the Harimandir Sahib because the Kra Prasad over there was so sumptuous. I remember I might be 7 or 8 years old. You pay money, you get that prasad which is offered inside the Gurdwara Sahib. And I fought with my mother. I said, why do you have to give it to inside to that Bhaiji? Because he uses his dagger and takes away all the prasad, leaves so little for us. So why do we have to take it in? You just give it the whole thing to me now. The garma garam kra prasad. And she said, slap you. She was like that. I'll slap you, how dare you say this. You can't do this. We go inside. So we offered to Guru Maharaj first. I said, okay, but I would sulk that. They take away the most of it. And it's a funny story. You do the matha take, you do the pranam, you come out, You do the half circumambulation, and then when you are leaving the premises, then on the corner, this Bhai Sahib, this gentlemen are there to give you the prasad, the offering. So I remember in my, again, 9 years old, some child, whispered. He said, if you go and they have the employees and those who serve in the temple, the Gurdwara, he said, they have a sign. If you do this, they give you more. It's a code word. Yeah, these children are fools. I was a fool at that time. Say, if you do this, they give you more. If you just do this, they give you little. So it was a huge long line. And so we queued up. And I go there and he yelled at me, keep your hands open. And he dropped a little prasad into it. I said, maybe he didn't see me properly. So I again go back. You have to take a long, chakkar too. So I again queued up. And again, it's so tasty. For a child, the stupid child doesn't know that what is prasad, but just knows it's so sweet and so delicious and so good. But the temples and the gurdwaras are from where our journeys begin. And our mother would take us to the temple also. So it's a Janmashtami, it's a Shivaratri. We go to temple. We do whatever is, asked of us. Do the pranam, take the chanamrit, take the prasad. But on Shivaratri, they would have this aloo puri langar and we would all drool and fight and kick and get the share. So hundreds of people want that. Why prasad is so good? So for the prasad, for the kada prasad, for the sheer ambience of that place, a child loves to go there. And after a time, as the brain grows, the intellect becomes better, you begin to understand the importance, the historical importance of that place. Then you begin to understand the value of the kirtan over there. Then you understand the value of the verses which are being read or sung. And then, if the good fortune is there, some Mahatma, some Sant is there in your life, so they would teach you what it means, verse by verse. Verse by verse, I got to learn all Sri Guru Granth Sahib. Verse by verse, I learned what Ramcharitmanas says. Verse by verse, I learned what Bhagavad Gita says. Verse by verse, in 10th class, I learned what Bhagavad Gita says. Verse by verse, did the Kathopanishad and all the Upanishads, and one by one. Now you are growing from the temple Gurdwara premises to the Jnana premises. So when Kabir condemns don't go to temple, he doesn't mean that don't go to temple, literally. But he is saying that until and unless a guru comes in your life, you will not understand. So knowledge is important. Jnana is important. Guru is important. But say if there was no temples around me and no Gurudwara around me, would I ever know about? Say if I had been born in a communist country. Nobody talks about God. They closed all the churches. In Russia, they closed all the churches. And somebody asked a child in a Russian school, do you know anything about God? He said, yes, but I think he died in 1920. Because that's when the communist revolution happened. He said, yes, he used to live, but then he died. But you know what? Russia had its own share of great realized individuals. Gurdjieff was one. He's born in a communist country. But the sense of I am is there. Who is this I? That question was burning in him. And then Gurdjieff traveled Asia, traveled to the Buddhist monasteries, met so many people to seek the answer. He met so many Sufi order people. He had these questions. And finally, he found his all answers. But he talked more about in a terminology of dhyana, meditation, silence, going into that point where the mind stops. And that's the point where you can encounter your own existence. So he created these wonderful, I would say, synchronized exercises, which one learns and does it very attentively and very awarefully. And while doing all those exercise, a moment would come, a bell would be rung and stop. And everybody is just still. Until the bell rings again. And again those set of exercises are done. It's like a very slow dance movement. Very, very slow dance movements. And suddenly would say, stop. So Gurudev is one person. China has its own share. Lao Tzu, Rinzai in Japan, Moshi, Toyo, so many Rinpoches, so many Rinzai, Japan. Now, Japan, Asia has the Buddhism is an offshoot of Hinduism. The Anapanasati and most of the breathing exercises which are used by Buddhists, the root is in the Shiva Sutras, the Yoga Sutras. But somebody who is born in Russia, born in Germany, even they came onto the way. But Gurudev had to go through a very, I would say, torturous journey to look for the truth. I have met people from South America, I have met people from various countries. They don't have all these things, but somehow they met me, whatever reasons or circumstances. They just loved me. And they just wanted to be with me. They started listening to me. Then they started doing what I teach. The urja, the beyond boundaries, the nishkriya, the yoga nidra and whatnot. And slowly, they came onto the path. So, the veil of ignorance will be removed only by knowledge, the divine knowledge, the highest knowledge, or we use the word tattva gyan. Other than that, bhakti is great, yoga is great, but they have their own utilities. I will never undermine that. It's beautiful, very, very beautiful journeys, but the ajnana will only go with jnana. And jnana too, you begin by listening, shravana. You understand fully, you contemplate, manana. And nididhyasana is the realization, the direct encounter. So these are the stages. Slowly but surely, you reach to that ultimate point.